We're going to be doing where you go wrong in your love life based off of your Venus sign. This is the 2019 edition, so anyone who has read my old content or my old YouTube videos, they know that I've done this before. But this one is new for 2019, and I just thought it would be a good idea because for some reason I keep coming back to this subject. Okay, so Aries. Also for this thread, I used The Shape of Water gifts, and if anyone has seen that movie, it is actually one of the best movies of all time. You fall in love with what you can do to fix someone and not what they already are. Then you find disappointment in what you thought would be an improvement. And this is something that I've noticed with a lot of Aries people. I feel like they try to go into a lot of their decisions or a lot of relationships for the potential of what someone could be versus what they already are. And it's kind of like they want to just Bob the Builder that, like they want to just go and fix something up and make it better, but you can't date someone based off of what they could be. You have to date someone on what they are, and I just feel like this is something that I repetitively see them doing, and you know, obviously not getting what they want. You can't date potential, you know? And then for Taurus, I said you get caught up in serving others instead of yourself and find yourself resenting them because of this. And it's true, like a lot of the time Taurus people take a lot on themselves, and they put a lot on themselves that no one asked them to do, and then they find themselves getting really resentful and upset when they realize that no one's going to, it's like they go out of their way to do things that no one asked them to do, and then they get upset when they aren't appreciated for that, or they don't feel like they're being, you know, someone's being thankful for that. And I understand where they're coming from a lot of the time, but at the same time, you can't keep going above and beyond and doing it because you're expecting something in return. Like that's just, you can't, no good deed goes unpunished. So I feel like Taurus, if you just put yourself first instead of constantly putting everyone else before you and then expecting people to do the same with you, and then sorely realizing that people are more selfish than that, and they don't, people usually prioritize themselves first. It's just like a given. And I feel like when you can adopt this and just kind of find a healthy balance between doing nice things for people still, but not doing it hoping or expecting them to reciprocate that or appreciate it in the way that you're wanting them to, you'll find like a more peaceful kind of sense of balance in your life. For Gemini, I said, you are an adrenaline junkie caught up in your next fix, but everything that glitters isn't gold. There are only so many times you can discard people and still be haunted by their ghosts. And yeah, I feel like Gemini pushes people away. They push things away that they don't want to deal with head on, and they think that because they can quickly cut things off or run away, that it's not going to follow them in thought. And you can't run away from your own mind, Gemini, because that is the one thing that constantly is keeping you up at night. And I just feel like that is a sign that you should probably not approach everything in your life like garbage you can just throw away, because not everything is replaceable. And Cancer, you want to heal people because you're hoping to heal yourself, but sometimes it can be taken as projecting problems on others that aren't theirs in the first place. So Cancer has this like way of wanting to therapeutically fix other people because they don't want to deal with their own problems, and the gesture is nice because it's a kind of selfless, but at the same time it can come off the wrong way, especially if they're being very adamant or they're projecting a lot of their own baggage onto someone else. And that's where it gets sticky. Then for Leo, I said you want so badly to find something genuine and authentic, but it's the fear of inauthenticity that sabotages you from forming genuine bonds with people. You hide from the world but expect it to open up for you at the same time. And yeah, that's pretty true. I just feel like Leo kind of hides from the world. They kind of close themselves off a lot of the time. They can be like talkative or friendly, but they're not always open, or they're not always like susceptible to new experiences or new things. And then they find themselves getting confused when things aren't just coming together. And I feel like Leo has to kind of be more vulnerable and be more open, or be more fragile and delicate, or expose that like soft side of themselves that they always want to pretend they don't have. If they are wanting to expect progress in their life and expect results in, you know, efforts, they have to actually, you know, make an effort. Virgo, you are a dutiful servant for the people in your life that you care for. You'll bleed out until there's nothing left to offer them, but love isn't defined by feeling depleted by the people in your life. And I feel like a lot of the time Virgo feels like they're showing their love, their affection based off of how drained they feel by the person they're around, or how much they feel like they're doing or giving. And I don't think that that's love. I think that it's just being a servant to someone, and I know that that's kind of like in their DNA to want to constantly cater to people, but I think when they learn that they don't have to sacrifice their own peace of mind just to show love or affection, they'll find a healthier dynamic and relationship with, you know, everyone in their life. Libra, you shapeshift into whatever it is people need you to be when they need it, with unspoken expectations that they will be a caricature of the movies you watch, but sacrificing your identity in hopes people will reach your unrealistic expectations will only disappoint you. And yeah, I feel like you can't project the people that you meet and try to, like, you can't mold them into like movies or romance novels that you've read or that you're inspired by, and people just aren't, you know, scripted characters. They're real, and they don't react in the way that you always want them to, and they're not always going to be perfect and be cordial and be polite, because, you know, that's just not healthy all the time to always be positive. And sometimes people are going to have feelings that contradict that, and you just have to, you know, learn to accept that and not constantly try to force people to be what you want them to be, and instead who they actually are, you know? Scorpio, you get so wrapped up in how people make you feel that you forget not everyone who shows you the slightest bit of attention is deserving of all of the best parts of you that you can offer. You are not defined by who loves you, but how you love yourself in spite of this. And I do feel like Scorpio, they come off very like callous or calculated, but they're very lovable, and they just really want affection and attention, and they get their hopes up really easily. We forget that they're water signs, even though they act very tough. And I do feel like a lot of the time, especially in like relationships, people that show them the slightest bit of attention, they fall head over heels with, and they develop feelings or intense emotions for way too quickly. And this usually is what gets them in trouble. And then Sagittarius, you care so much about people and things that leave you feeling insignificant. You try so hard to pour yourself into people with your authenticity, but your honesty doesn't ensure theirs. And this is a hard pill to swallow for Sagittarius, because I feel like they constantly want to establish friendships, and trust is a huge thing for them, but they also feel like how honest they're being or how vocal they're being equates to like some kind of solidification for a friendship or trust, and that's not really how it works. It takes time, and I think Sagittarius gets genuinely confused when they realize that talking incessantly doesn't necessarily mean that you're achieving anything. Capricorn, you badly want to believe in people, but you're jaded. You've been hurt and you're tired. You don't want to invest in promises, but action. But you put people through hoops hoping they can prove loyalty to you that you aren't sure you're willing to give to them. And this is true. I feel like Capricorn is very indecisive, at least upon like initial encounters with people. They're very conflicted with like how much of themselves they want to give to that person, if that person's even worth it. And I feel like people have to go through this like criteria of hoop jumping to get into Capricorn's good graces. But half of the time people will jump through hoops, and then Capricorn realizes they don't even like that person or want to be around that person. And I just feel like that's kind of hypocritical, because I don't think they would do that for people, at least initially. I do think they would do that for their loved ones like later on, but I don't think that's something they would do initially. Aquarius, you are so soft and gentle, but the world gnaws on you and spits you out. You hide behind jagged edges and broken glass because you're fearful of how you'll be perceived, but learning vulnerability doesn't guarantee pain, will bring you peace instead of anxiety. And this is true. I feel like Aquarius is very callous to the damage that they've dealt with in their life, and I feel like they feel like they aren't allowed to show their vulnerable side, because I feel like in in past situations it's hurt them, but they have to learn to accept that not everyone is out to get them, and they have to at least be trusting with one person in their life, because it's really not healthy to just go around acting like you have no one to talk to, or you're not able to express any kind of emotional venting ever. That's just not a healthy way to live, and it's going to eventually bite you. So, you know, you gotta open up. You gotta find someone to talk to, even if it's a therapist. And Pisces, you are so quick to assess the world around you, yet you keep yourself hidden. You want transparency, but refuse to offer it to yourself. Instead of showing people you're in pain, you shut them out entirely. And Pisces, I feel like they're just like, they're silent but deadly. And kind of like how they approach life. I think that they expect everyone to just open up to them, and they expect things to just be transparent, but they don't want to be that themselves, and that's typically where they bump into a lot of issues, because a lot of times they're preventing themselves from experiencing a lot of great things because they're too scared to put themselves out there. And overall, that completes this video. I don't know if you guys even like these videos, if you guys appreciate that I put my threads into video format. Let me know if you like that. Let me know if that's something that you want to see more of. Let me know if it's something you want me to stop doing. Oh yeah, and please don't forget to turn that notification bell on. I post new videos inconsistently every week. I'm going to try to adopt a schedule soon. Please subscribe. Please hit that like button if this was moderately entertaining. I will see you in my next video.